Hello, everybody, and welcome to the aftermath of AEW Collision. Yes, folks, say it with me. After the collision, we sift through
the Wreckage.
The Wreckage.
Woo! Brought to you by channelattitude.com. Please subscribe for $5 a month in the Jaime Media Group. This is the Wreckage. I'm Chris Ambs. That's Constable Ambs to you today. And I have my cadet with me. This is also Constable Ambs. All right, now get out of here. You said you wanted to be on the show. Now go away. All right. Joining me is my usually unusual co-host with the most from the Port Phillip Coast, Detective T, more commonly known as Dimitrios Usos.
Dimitrios Usos. Huh? I'm part of the Usi crew.
That's right.
But the Greek Usi crew. Polikala, Christoisi. In other words, yourself.
I'm good, man. All right, so my guest intros are totally not contrived, so we lit up the vet signal, and he arrived. Vet, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Ready to do this thing that we do?
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
All right. News and notes. Let's see. I want to talk about wrestlers on Netflix. Vet, have you had a chance to watch any of that yet?
Man, I ain't watching that shit.
Kidding me? That's cold, man. If I had the beep button right now,
I lived it. What do I need to watch it?
No,
for?
no, I know. That's true, for sure.
True enough. Good show, though. I gotta say, the show is actually really excellent.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, it grips you for sure, and hopefully it turns into some real money for them too. Because I mean, that they really do show you like there's not just no money in wrestling. There is anti-money in wrestling. It eats up money, more than you make. So it's pretty brutal trying to run wrestling companies.
So you know what I was wondering too is I was wondering now that this is on Netflix, which is so ubiquitous now, and it wasn't even back when I was at OVW, it was mailing DVDs and envelopes. But I wonder how many people are watching this in Louisville and not even realizing this is right in their backyard. Like, oh, wait a minute, this is in town? There's got to be some people that are like that. They're like, I would have seen this, but I just don't pay attention to anything.
I'm guessing it's probably like way more prevalent in Louisville than people even realize. Like,
maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm watching the show and they're doing things like they've got guys that are trying to get people to the show, right? They're trying to get people in the door, and it's like they're doing such small time things, and they're going to places that are just like regular places in the neighborhood, right? Like they're going to car dealerships and they're handing out flyers, and people are looking at them like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Wait, but what year is it based? Though is it based now?
Yeah, it was last summer.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly how it was. Like, I'm trying to, get people to come to these shows. Like, I'm telling people, like, hey, if you come to this wrestling show, or whatever, you could buy this ticket for $5, whatever, and people are just like, eh. And like, these are people that they know about wrestling. They know, they just don't care.
Yeah,
wow.
It's weird.
So Vet, so we know OVW's been around for how many years? Over 20 years at this point, right? And all this time in Louisville, the people of Louisville still don't or haven't heard of OVW.
There's a lot of people that have
a shocking amount.
Wow,
Jimmy, like a truly shocking amount, and it's
because it's really
just another indie. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to just make the point. It's like for a lot of people. Remember, we're all like dialed in when it comes to wrestling and the wrestling business and everything. For most people in the world that know of wrestling, it's WWE or nothing else.
That's true.
They don't even realize there's a connection. They're just not that dialed in. They are that. Maybe they don't watch wrestling, but they just know WWE. It's the brand recognition thing. So
right.
Yeah.
No, you're
and they're only impressed. Like it's. How many times any wrestler can relate to the feeling of telling somebody they're a wrestler and the person saying, "Oh, like WWE?"
Yeah.
Like that is invariably the response from people. So, that is why it seems surprising. Louisville is a small town. It's not that small, but it's small for to them, to Kentucky, it's a big metropolitan area. To a lot of to people like, from California and New York, calling it a big city is laughable. So,
Yeah.
It's big for small.
Isn't it
But-
just off like in the middle of nowhere sort of thing too, where a higher value wrestling is actually based
So
at?
if of course you've never been there.
No,
So for
no.
everybody that's listening, it's a warehouse district. You know how they have
Right,
those
I remember,
little
right.
plots where there will be several warehouses that are rented out by whoever owns the thing, and OVW is just one. Whatever the other businesses in the other warehouses are doing, I never knew. I just know that I pulled up and it's just one of many warehouses, and it's got the little OVW yellow sign on it or whatever over the door. And then it's just like any other warehouse that you would rent. You could rent these warehouses. They have little office space with some mild plumbing, like just nothing major. And this is like the new building. There used to be another OVW building that they moved out of. That's the one that you see that looks extra small back when it was like
Right.
Leviathan and Randy Orton and the prototype and like all of that. Those guys were gone before they ever moved. So I've
There
only
used to be a
seen the
dirt
new
road
building
next to it.
Yeah,
I
so
remember.
but yeah, it's next to nothing. It's in a warehouse district off 4400 Old Shepherdsville Road. It's a nothing happening. It's on your way to places. It's not a destination place. It's just tucked in a corner somewhere. So you can't even see it from the street, because when you're driving down the street, you see the warehouses like off to your right or left depending on which way you're coming, but you can't see OVW the building. It's in the back, so you got to pull off, go through a little like side road or whatever.
Right, that's
to
what
get
I
back
remember
there.
seeing, like in documentaries and whatnot. Wow,
Yep.
crazy.
Well, anyway, the show is actually really great because I don't know, like I said, it really gets into the idea of how hard it is to run a successful company. And it's funny because they show this sort of dichotomy between the company, right, and the general area of that, like, Louisville with like Kentucky sort of like right there, and how it's hard everywhere, right? It's sort of hard for everybody right now. They go to a small mining town that was probably about, I don't know, I would say about 15,000 people or so, very reminiscent of where I grew up in Kenora, right? And just like half of the buildings are boarded up, right? Like this town used to be a town, and it's now basically just turning into a ghost of a town, right? And
No
it's
shit.
an interesting dichotomy to see how, like, these towns are struggling and wrestling is struggling, and you're watching these characters and stuff like that, and it's also you want to cheer for people, but as you're watching it, you're getting like a little bit deeper into people's personal lives too. And I gotta say, it becomes a situation where you're watching it and you're like, man, this person has you can see the potential, but you can also see exactly why they're not going to reach that potential. Like probably the main star there is a girl named Haley J, who, I mean, in terms of charisma, she's got it. Like, she's got it in terms of professional wrestling. But you watch her personal life and you're like, this is what's going to keep you away from success. These decisions that you're making, and I know she's just a kid. She could grow up and start making better decisions, but she's making dumb decisions and then showing how proud she is of her dumb decisions. And you're like, this is what's going to keep you from success, real success in the world of professional wrestling.
How old is she?
She's 21, 22.
Okay,
So, I mean,
well,
she
it makes
could
sense.
still grow up. I hope she does, because she's got a lot of charisma, but it's like, kid, grow up. And if you don't, it's going to be really hard to get anywhere. So
You want to hear something crazy?
Tell me.
So just the time that I was there, it was a short, let's say 4 years. Within 4 years, a span of 4 years. the amount of people that would come in and out of there, you know, people with dreams, people with ambitions, you know, it's a revolving door of people that came from all over the place. Guys coming from Europe, people coming from Canada, people coming from, you know, just like so many different places. What?
No Australians?
Yes, Australians.
Oh,
there was
okay.
multiple Australians. I believe so. So like you had all these people coming, but there was a shocking, and of course, you know, some were going to wash out. Some of them are locals who are just trying it because why wouldn't you? Like if OVW's in your backyard, you better at least, you know, and you thought about it, you might as well at least give it a try. So many people come through revolving door, like I said. How many people I saw would come from some far off place across the country, from another continent, you know, and come to Louisville, Kentucky and shack up with some, you know, disgusting woman or whatever and just get roped into
bro.
like you could have had no, not even rats. Not even rats. They would start dating somebody that had no interest in professional wrestling, but was like maybe a support system kind of. That was the advice. Rip would always say, like, get yourself a fat woman, because they're gonna try harder and they'll take care of you.
That literally.
Yeah. Some of them did, and
boy.
those people that were doing that,
man,
that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who moved to this place with an idea, a dream, ambition, whatever, and just get some bitch pregnant and end up locked down here and like never leaving. It's like you could have got somebody pregnant anywhere. You came here to do something. How could you get trapped in a regular life in a shithole like this? I was just astounded at like the amount of times that happened. Like any more than 0 times is too many. Nobody should have gotten tricked like that. Like, what did you really come here to do? How serious could you have taken this? So that is something that I think speaks to what you're saying, Chris, about like get your shit in order, because you can't be a star or you can't be a somebody if you're just going to get trapped in the same things that regular people with no ambition and no foresight and everything else get trapped in. You can't be just one of these yokels, you know what I mean? So so that you know, that's what it reminds me of when you're talking about this. So what's her gimmick name? Is this the Hollywood or whatever?
Hollywood Haley J.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Gangsta and shit.
Yeah, she's your typical.
Is she one of these catch me outside types?
Catch me outside white girls.
Two
Who's
trailer
just
park
not
girls
going to be
gonna
able to
catch me
do
outside.
anything.
And she's called, like, she's got the hood in her name, for crying out loud.
I mean,
And she got-
it's a gimmick, I guess. I haven't even seen it. I've only heard of this person. I've never actually watched her, seen her, or anything. I've just heard of her.
Neither have I, but I saw her
Long
a slight
before this
preview.
too, I heard of her.
Was she a blonde? Is she blonde by any chance?
Yeah. Bleach
Okay, yeah,
blonde,
I've seen like little snippets, but she looks no shit about 3 foot tall.
She wouldn't be out of place, to be honest with you, like physically on
Really?
anybody's roster. Yeah, she's not super small. She's not like big by any means. She's not, she's not going to impress anybody with her size. And she doesn't have to. She's a women's wrestler. Let's be frank.
What are you trying to say? Huh?
Is she not gonna? She's not gonna do a slam spot and then parade around the ring doing the double bicep? Is that
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, she's a regular sized girl, basically, right? But she does have a lot of personality, right? Like a lot of charisma. But she's also, she gets high while she's at work. Like she's getting stoned, and then she's literally like getting high and then going to the ring and taking somebody else's life in her hands. And it's like,
Wait.
Well, she's being filmed for a documentary.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I want to know. Is that's weird, dude? What about Al Snow?
my
Like,
God.
how does he react to this?
Al Snow's reaction was, you absolutely do not get to be here when you're high. Like,
That's bizarre, bro. Like,
I mean, that's the right fucking thing to do. You're taking
No,
somebody
you're right.
else's life in your hands. Professional wrestling is a game where you literally can break somebody's neck by rotating the wrong way or by being 4 inches lower or higher than you're supposed to be. So don't get high and then get in the fucking wrestling ring. It's just like getting drunk and getting in the wrestling ring. Don't fucking
that's
do
worse.
that.
That's way worse,
For
I
more on
reckon,
this
but, yeah.
topic, I refer you to the Monday Night Machismo starring Chris Ambs and Jimmy T.
Fuck, man.
We
We
talked about it there too, yeah.
it. We talked about it. Don't do that shit. Like, fuck.
Actually, we went back and forth with that. Actually, probably a little longer, but yeah, I mean that's bizarre. If you're knowing
We
you're getting
did
filmed,
because you think it's okay to get high. And
No,
get
no,
fucking
no,
All right, we
wrestling.
don't need to rehash it.
Yeah,
I said
right.
we're trying to drive traffic to your other shows and get you some more listens. So if you want to
what you've
hear
done, Vet. Look
this
what you did.
passionate conversation, what else about wrestlers, Chris?
That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Yeah, like it's interesting to see. Like I said, you see all these different characters, and you see the different versions of wrestlers, right? You see the young, talented, charismatic, and stupid wrestler, right? You see the wrestler who's finally kind of got it figured out at 45, 50 years old and is still trying to do something, right? But you're done. You don't have the opportunity anymore to really get anywhere in wrestling, even though you finally figured it out, right? You finally figured out how to be a professional wrestler. You're 50
Right.
years old. It's too fucking late.
Well, Al Snow's a little older than 50, I think.
I was talking about
Wow.
somebody else. Cash Flow.
Who's
who-
cash flow?
He
What
seems
sort
like
of
a
name is
really
that?
nice guy. He seems like a really nice guy, and he seems to actually get what wrestling is about.
But he's a
now,
drug dealer.
but-
Why cash flow?
It was an old gimmick from when he was younger, right? It was.
Oh,
it
I
was,
see.
Yeah. That he hasn't been able to adapt.
Shake it off, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which maybe tells you that he doesn't really understand pro wrestling. But anyway,
Touché.
but anyway, you get all of the different versions of wrestlers, right? You get the young, talented, brash, and then you get a situation where you get like a real big close up on a guy like Mahabali Shera, right? Who, like you said, came from India, right? He moved to Louisville of all fucking places, right? After kind of flunking out at a
from
few
Mumbai to Louisville.
right, but kind of flunking out of the WWE developmental system and being, admittedly, in his own words, like pretty close to suicide, because he failed. And then he winds up in Louisville. He works really hard. He gets the opportunity to, get a push and everything. And you watch him, and he's a real pro, and he's trying to do exactly like what you're talking about, Vet. He's like, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not getting involved in bullshit.
Literally, the traps are that bad over there.
I'm just here to try to fucking focus on wrestling and get better and get
Wow.
to the next step. Like, that's all he's doing. And you can see it, and you're like, wow, like that's a real pro. So I mean, you get the whole gambit of like the wrestlers, right? Like I think that's why it's called wrestlers, because you're getting all of these different examples of things you've heard 100 times in professional wrestling. So it's interesting to see. It really is a good show.
To answer your question, Jimmy, no, the traps are not that bad, but people still just fall into them.
Yeah.
It's like the
Well, it
blatant
seems like,
pile of
'cause you
sticks
say
with
it.
grass over the top of it, and they're still
Yeah.
just like doop doop
Yeah.
doo. Yeah, like
I wouldn't go for
because
no
human
Louisville
beings are
bush pig.
disgusting when it comes to the possibility of sex. Like when it's
No,
even
not
just
me, man.
on the, it's even just not even on the table, but like on the next table over. What people will do if they think there's a chance. So, and I
Oh,
just
there
want to
must
add
be.
one more thing to paint you guys a picture of the sort of scene and to illustrate the struggles, that running an independent promotion like that there, you got to keep in mind too. Like, so I get there in 2005, right? So as one of the students, every Wednesday night for the OVW TV tapings, we're like, people are lined up outside. Like they are
Crazy, man.
lined up in the parking lot to come in here. And we got to take folding chairs. We got to take 200 and some extra folding chairs and put them all down in front of the bleachers so that people have enough room to sit. People are crowded by the snack bar. They're like all the way out to the edge. People are, why? Because the shit is free. The people are buying concessions in the building, but there's no ticket price because the WWE is footing the bill. So all their developmental guys are there and the people are coming in and they're getting like, they get the OVW guys or whatever, the future stars of tomorrow today, as the slogan says. And then, they may get a dark match with like the Dudley Boys or something like that because they just happen to be down there for the week or whatever, and that's what you get. And then, that's when Cornette is in full, he's in full charge of the creative and everything like that. So, I take my 9-month hiatus or whatever. I come back. Now Heyman's there. Now we're not setting up no chairs. It's still free, but people just rather not. Okay. We have to put ourselves in the audience to get the people that do show up to cheer along for guys like The Miz and CM Punk or whatever, because no one's going to do it on their own. So we have to be the ones on the hard cam, like, yay, baby faces, boo heels, like we're not obvious plants, right? So that's the difference. Everything in the Cornette show is done in the ring. Everything on Heyman's show is pre-taped, and they got this shitty little screen that they project this stuff on that you could barely see or hear. It's not set up. This is not the Titantron. Okay, yeah. So you leave your house to go to the arena to watch TV. That's why people stop coming, even though it's free, right? Eventually, WWE pulls out. Now there's nobody that has a sniff of being a WWE wrestler. And now Danny Davis is like, Danny Davis. Okay, yeah, no more free admission. Now you got to pay to see the people that you wouldn't come to see for free. Yeah. You got to pay to see the guys that were jobbing to the contract guys, if they were lucky. So how in the world do you expect? You killed the town, basically. Well, the WWE killed it.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
but on top of that, it was one thing on top of another, and then, saying you were the guys that used to provide wrestlers for the WWE is not that big of a draw. And like we already talked about, no one knows you exist. So The struggle is palpable, like in terms of like, how do you get people to care? And no offense to Mr. Spectacular, I don't think that's going to be it.
He brags about it all the time.
I feel for all those guys. I feel for everybody involved.
But it's a testament that they're still even operating, dude. Think about it. WWE's been gone for years now. So how the fuck are they still even keeping afloat? Do people pay for tickets now?
They have to, but it's...
Yeah, not well is the answer to your question, Jimmy.
Really?
Really? The last figure I remember hearing was last year they lost $130,000.
I heard 180 because I don't know if you guys noticed, Brett Lauderdale, the owner of GCW, he's been beefing with Al Snow on Twitter. I stuck up for Al Snow though, but still, like, who the fuck is this idiot sitting there going, well, at least I didn't lose 180,000. But everyone was giving him trash anyway for being, a trash promotion in GCW. But I don't know if Al Snow's bitten back yet or not. But yeah, I saw that all over Twitter.
Well, and Al Snow's another really interesting character on the show, right? He's exactly what you expect if you've heard Al Snow on any podcast lately. He's kind of grumpy and he's pretty even. He's not one of these guys like a Cornette or
oh boy,
he's not going to blow up, right? But he's just kind of quietly grumpy. Though. Yeah, he's just kind of quietly grumpy and talks about things. I did love. I tweeted a quote of his actually from the show where they're setting up for a death match, and the producers say, "What's a death match?" And he goes, "Something stupid."
I saw that. Yeah, that's where it started. That's where Brett Lauderdale said something because of that part of the show. You know what? I might actually give it a check out tonight, man.
Check it out, man. It's a great show. It's only 7 episodes.
7 episodes. And how long do they go for? An hour per
About
episode?
An hour. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out, man. It's just trying to fit that shit in with all the wrestling that we have around us. You know what I mean? So,
bro, there's so much to do. There's so much.
I know, it's ridiculous, man. It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
All right. So speaking of which, let's move on. We got more news. Let's see. AEW is continuing to struggle to sell tickets, and I mean really, really struggle. They were in an arena this for this show that seats 15,000 plus, and they had about 3,000 people in the arena. So that's hard. Not only is that hard, like from a business perspective, but I imagine like as a professional wrestler, it's way easier to see, you know, an arena full of 1,500 people, but that's full, right? That is a size to seat 1,500 people, and you've got 1,500 people, as opposed to seeing 3,000 people in a 15,000 person arena. That's got to weigh on you a little bit. Vet, what do you think?
I think we should get these guys a show on Netflix. Try to get those numbers up.
Shit.
Guys, honest question. Oh, yeah, sorry, Vic, continue.
No, go ahead, ask your question.
No, I was just going to quickly say, like, how the hell can you see Tony Khan sustaining this company for the years to come? Because
he's a billionaire.
I know.
Yeah.
You'd be bleeding.
Yeah, just pour money into it as long as people will allow you to. That's my answer to everybody who keeps asking, is this the Titanic? Is this is this about ready to just get, that's what people said about TNA for how many years?
Yep.
And if you have billionaires backing you, that, whether it's people like, whatever, Anthem, whatever, anybody that's willing to put just enough in there to keep it on life support, and not actually make any real investments into it, then that's fine. Or you could be like Tony, who's willing to put real money into it or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But as long as he wants to continue doing this, and I don't see him stopping, someone's going to have to stop him. Then
right.
This will go on, and it's easy to turn around. You just have to be more realistic about your expectations and everything like that. Like, not every show has to be, like a home run.
Right,
Maybe you can just swallow a little bit of pride and book a smaller building that can be full. I know people have been telling him to do that, but eventually that's just going to be a reality. And then if you can get the interest up, then for a bigger show, you can try to get the 15,000. I mean, obviously, if you have the right circumstances, you can get, several, many thousands, 70,000, depending. Ask Will Ospreay's tattoo, but
poor guy, bro.
Whatever it is, you can do those on occasion. You won't be able to run Wembley again, like not like that. It's going to be less and less and less every time. They milk Chicago dry and then fire their favorite wrestler. So there's bad decisions that are going to impede their progress in terms of them growing as a company. But we can just it's very simple to take something like this and just say, okay, maybe everything doesn't have to be a full arena, right? Like it could just be a smaller venue. That's okay. It's okay to sometimes have a smaller venue. Sometimes venues look cool. Daly's place looks cool. Like the way it's laid out on TV when they used to do it all the time there, when they would do Dynamite there and everything, like it looks different. It looks cool. So find cooler looking small venues. Like Chris, we talked about the that one Toronto venue or whatever that looks like it's in some weird
cool
dome or something
or
with
whatever
the ceiling.
up the top. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, just do something that looks different and cool.
Well.
Yeah, just do something that looks different and cool for TV, and then pack it tight and get that ECW atmosphere.
Yeah, I totally agree
wrestling,
with that.
boys.
I totally agree with that. If you can run you can run a show and you can get people to really, really like it. It doesn't have to be a huge arena full of, 15,000 people every single time. I remember watching when the WWE went back to the was it Hammerstone? Is that what it is?
Hammerstone Ballroom,
Hammerstein.
the Manhattan Center.
That show looked fucking awesome,
love that,
dude.
For sure.
Like that looked great.
Are you talking about during the Raw anniversary, the 1000, whatever the fuck it was?
Whatever it was, yeah. They're going back.
They brought back the ICO Pro banners as well.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of thing, that is cool, and it's something that I think that people should probably look into. But again, convincing Tony Khan of anything appears to be nigh on impossible. So good luck to
Well,
whoever's
he's got a lot
trying
of people concurrently trying to as well.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how many, for all the shit that people give him, imagine how many directions he's been being pulled in at any given time by any number of people or organizations.
True enough.
Like,
But can't you see the writing on the wall, man, and actually, be smart? He doesn't need to have to listen to anybody else. Just listen to yourself. Stop being in denial.
And he would, Jimmy. He would be terribly upset if he could read. But yeah. All right. So AEW struggling to sell 3,000 tickets. Meanwhile, The Rock's return got 100 million views on social media.
Really?
100 million views.
Holy shit.
Man, that guy is still a draw. Like, whatever. He came out and did something useless. They didn't, like I said, they didn't announce it beforehand. I'm hoping it's not just a one-off. That would be terrible.
I'm hearing it's not a one-off.
Right. I'm hearing that too, which is why I don't think that they exactly wasted the shock because, hey, they're going to get the same amount of people coming next week. But yeah, from struggling to sell 3,000 tickets to having 100 million views on social media. And it just kind of goes to show you professional wrestling, for all that people don't want it to be, is a star-driven thing. Like, it really is driven by star power. If you've got people who can... There you go, Vet. Are you?
No, not me. I'm just putting my hand up because I have something.
All right. So the Vet is going to go ahead and be our star right now. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vet.
Can I just say, look, as a I don't consider myself a wrestler per se, even though I try to think like one sometimes. I consider myself, I did wrestle. But can I just say that, like, seeing all these people that want to come in and get a piece of the pie. I mean, first you got Bad Bunny, and then you got Logan Paul, and now you get Dwayne Johnson and John Cena trying to come in and get on this wrestling thing, like on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like, who? Though. I mean, come on. This is a little bit pathetic right now, don't you think? Like, WWE is just letting all these Hollywood actors and personalities and musicians and just come in and just be wrestlers and make everybody else look bad by doing it so well.
I know. It's exactly like when David Arquette won the WCW championship. Like, keep these Hollywood guys out of my fucking wrestling.
Except he sucked though at that time as a wrestler compared to your Bad Bunnies and your Logan Pauls. You know what I mean?
And your Dwayne Johnsons.
And your Dwayne Johnsons.
That guy.
And your
It's like the scene. It's like this. It's like the scene in Back to the Future when Doc asked Marty who's the president in 1985.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan, the actor. What the hell is Dwayne Johnson doing on SmackDown? Doesn't he have a DC franchise to ruin?
No, he's done. He ruined it already. It's been done, man.
A Marvel franchise then. Perhaps he could poison that well a little bit more. Like anything but...
it's funny, guys, because, after Smack Attack with myself, Chris, and John Enright, I think I was listening to various podcasts about The Rock, and not one person, that's funny, whoever's hand that was, but not one podcast that I heard, there could be others, but so far that I've heard, did not mention why The Rock was there. I personally think, and we thought also, it was a PR stunt, man, after the whole Oprah Winfrey and, Hawaii fire scandal. I think, yeah. I mean, do you agree with that, Vet?
Sort of. I also just think it's coincidence because he was in town. I mean, he was there to do the thing with McAfee. That's why he was fucking there.
That was the giveaway, though, for me, man. When I saw that, that's when I started thinking that possibly he'll be on SmackDown.
Right. So some people made some calls and, whatever, or maybe McAfee or whatever, just whatever the deal was, or they worked it out. I don't think they booked this. That's why when you have like Ben Hameen saying like, why didn't they billboard this? I'm like, I'm sure they weren't positive he was going to even be there at all until probably way too late to advertise it. So that's probably why. I mean, remember I saw somebody else's social media post of like, remember when they spent a whole Survivor Series honoring The Rock and he didn't even show up, and then but he just so happens to be there for a Deion Sanders game or whatever.
That sounds like The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dwayne.
That's
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne.
Good old Dwayne.
Dwayne Johnson, the actor.
Yeah, and John Cena, the actor. There's a lot of
Yeah,
actors.
the actor.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what happens when the fucking writers go on strike, right?
But
The actors
Cena,
need something to do.
Cena's such a glory hunter, though, man. Have you noticed the way he piggybacks off anyone that's hot right now, especially on his current run? Literally, he's piggybacking off whoever's hot. Exactly, and I hate that.
Yes. John Cena's been carefully cultivating his image for well over a decade.
Oh,
15 years or so. Like he's done everything he could to put him in a position where he cannot be the bad guy. And he learned it from guys like The Rock, you know, and seeing how he's just never gets any on him or does his best not to.
Yep.
And
He's
that's,
worse
I
than
mean,
The Rock, though.
There's nothing. Well, he is now because he's around more and more recently.
True.
But it's fine. Did you also like? I didn't get to hear the smack attack. But did you also like how The Rock made sure to not interact with anybody that would possibly be interesting or that would make sense to do? Like his cousins are just running around causing havoc, and he's nowhere to be seen. But he'll make sure to hug John Cena real quick, which feeds into your piggybacking thing or whatever. Like we can do this part.
Right.
Let's have Cena and The Rock hug, and then get him the hell out of here before anything interesting happens, or we have any other fun interactions for the rest of the 2-hour show, right?
Why would they do that, though, Vet? I mean, you'd think you would want to plant some seeds, moving forward with the bloodline, but like,
the WWE
probably because it's
sure
a one-off and they're not going to do it.
Yeah, the WWE isn't sure that he's gonna do business. That's the thing, right? I think that right now he might be saying, "Yeah, I'd love to come in for a match, guys.
Well, that's what he's saying.
I'd love to do WrestleMania. I'd love to do WrestleMania, guys. That'd be great. Oh, the writer strike is off, and I can make $400 million. You know what, guys? I'd love to do it, but it's out of my hands. It's out of my control. I just can't. So
there goes the chance
now,
of that.
Let me ask you, Chris. If you, well, both of you guys, if you want to answer, even knowing that, why not just write it anyway? So what if nothing ever comes of it? Just put the seed in people's mind to get them to tune in for future episodes, hoping to see that. That's the whole thing. Look, wrestling is a grift anyway. So why do we stop grifting? Why do we just give the people what we want and then just leave it at that?
They even set something up that I thought could have been really, really, they could have paid it off the same night, and it would have created a lot of interest moving forward, right? So you've got Solo and Paul Heyman backstage, and Solo's saying, "Yeah, I'm going to go do this." And Paul's like, "Yeah, but who ordered that? Like it has to come from the head of the table, right? It has to come from your tribal chief. It has to come from Roman Reigns, And then at the end of the night, after Solo does whatever he's doing, the last shot of the night could be, he's going backstage, and you have The Rock come out and just give him a pound, right? Just touch fists at the end of the night, and then you start thinking to yourself, "Oh man, is Rocky gonna get involved in this? Like, is Rocky the guy who ordered that move? Like, is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing?" And then even if you don't pay it off, you're gonna get weeks and weeks and weeks of people thinking, maybe, I wonder, is this the episode where Rock's gonna come out? Is this you are going to disappoint people if it doesn't turn into that, right? But that's wrestling, man. You're gonna disappoint people sometimes.
It's the grift. You've already left town.
You sold your fucking tickets. Who cares?
Well, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but the comic King Todd Brantley
out of here.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I don't want that to happen at this WrestleMania coming up anyway. If LA Knight versus Roman Reigns happens, and if it did happen, he ain't winning.
Right?
No, I think that whoever's facing Roman this year is going to lose. I think Roman's keeping it another year. They're gonna do the actual shocking thing, and I really hope it's Cody Rhodes. I hope and pray it's Cody Rhodes at Mania and he loses. Oh, that would just be.
And they give him Seth Rollins' title instead.
Yeah, no, give him like I said, you have him bring back the European Championship, and he can be European champion for life.
Smoke and mirrors.
That's what I would do with Cody Rhodes.
Speaking of European champions, how did you like that Cesaro theme last week, Chris?
It was great. It was great. That was actually good, though. Like, that actually makes you. I don't know. To me, that makes you a baby face. It's like your entrance is cool. Why is your entrance cool?
Well, you would just have to see it, the whole thing in context. But I was disappointed. The audio only version, Jimmy just put on that lame cover of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting again. So
No. I ended it with the Cesaro song. Remember?
not on the version I heard. Not on the audio.
Yeah. I thought
What
I
the
did.
fuck, Jimmy? All right.
All right. Well, anyway,
Okay.
neither here
Yeah.
nor there.
All right. So
Strange.
we need
That's
to get
real
into
strange.
the actual fucking show now. Unfortunately,
have to?
so
Boo.
yeah, we do.
Boo.
That's what our contract says.
Boo.
Yeah, we've got a job to do. Just lay down and take it. Quick promos from the BCC: Starks and Bill, Statlander, and DMD, Dark Order, and the Acclaimed. This went on a little too long, and I'm not sure if this is just a matter of taste, but I would have cut it
Maybe.
after the first 4. I don't think the Dark Order and the Acclaimed needed to be part of this package. And I think that you get more out of it if it's a quick thing where, like, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Here's your show, right? Instead of, that 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Here's your show, right? It's small and it seems like a nitpick, but it's definitely something that, like, it stood out to me when I was watching the show that, like, okay, they actually went on here a little bit too long. And it could just be me. It could just be that I like that format better, but I personally thought that they went on a little too long.
No, you're right. You're right.
did.
And it's not even 30. It should be like 10 seconds. Yeah. You do 10 seconds. It's got to be quicker.
Yeah,
Dude,
no,
I'm
I
not gonna
agree.
lie.
More energy,
Remember-
right?
Right, exactly. But you know how we were watching it through, my feed, you and I, Chris, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because Chris texts me and says, man, how long is this show going for, right? And it really felt like that. When he texted me that, I'm like, damn, it should be finished by now, man. Like, it feels like it should have been finished.
We
And then
still
it
have another
wasn't.
45 minutes left. in the show.
Yeah. And Collision hasn't felt like that until this week, man. It really felt like a drag.
It was bad.
It was.
Right. So we begin with a tag match with Ricky Starks and Big Bill facing Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. Sorry, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Castagnoli.
Castagnoli.
Antonio Cesaro.
Antonio
go.
Cesaro. Why can't he use his real name? Because nobody can fucking pronounce it.
Exactly. Well, but you know what's funny? You've done the Russian way, like Castagnoli.
Castagnoli. Yes.
That's
All
funny
right.
shit.
All right, so Bill starts off the match with physical domination. He's too big and strong for Bryan, who tags in Claudio Castagnoli. Test of strength to begin the match. And who's the face team here? What? I don't understand what this is. Because okay, so the heels are cheating, so that I guess that means it's Bill and Starks are the heels. So because heels cheat. But
Didn't
then,
I ask
like,
you this question too.
in
the text.
in at least 2 more segments on this show, the BCC are heels. So what the fuck is going on? Jimmy?
Do you know? Well, I'll answer that first, I guess. I don't know what's going on. And I believe I asked you in the text also, Chris. I'm like, who's the heels in this match? Like, since when now is the BCC baby faces? I guess Saturday nights is all right to be a baby face. And then come Wednesdays, we go back to being heels because it's just
It's not even that clear, Jimmy. If it was that clear and on one
True.
show they were heels and on one show they were baby faces, it'd be fine. I mean, less than 25 minutes later, we get a video from Claudio Castagnoli, and he's a heel again. It's like, what the fuck with this company?
Oh man, no, that's
That is this just a symptom of people having this frankly idiotic fucking thought that there's no such thing as baby faces and heels, and that somehow things are better when there's no baby faces and heels?
I think that's part of it. Maybe a large part. I'm noticing a sort of what would you call it? It's an epidemic, really, of wrestlers, either themselves or their companies, not knowing who they are, like who the characters are. I mean, Like you don't get who these people are, and I get the feeling that a lot of these men and women are sort of swimming upstream against the creative, and some of them have the strength to swim and get over anyway, and some of them just kind of get carried along with the
in the rip.
yeah. So you could have, this would be a sort of an intriguing idea to have, if you take people that are established strongly as heels, and what happens when they have a problem. Now you have the makings of an interesting match, right? You can play around with that within the match, within the parameters of the match, and it can be interesting and fun to watch. You don't want to do that all the time, but you want to do it sometimes because, you know, I don't agree with the old philosophy of, well, all the babyface are friends and all the heels are friends, and then they just, it's like one side against the other.
Yeah.
The heels should all hate everyone, you know, except their specific friends, whether they're in teams or groups or whatever. So you could have had an interesting story here, but what ends up happening is these guys are all just going to have the match they're going to have no matter what their character is. They just do stuff until the bell rings, and that's boring. I told you guys about Bryan Danielson's matches. As soon as I say that, he goes out and tears it down with Ricky Starks in that strap match, like one of the only good matches on that show.
Yeah.
So, you know, in your face, me. But nonetheless, those are few and far between. I stand by that. And this is an example of, this guy's here to be a ring general, to be a battery, to be, you know, the thing that the player coach, the agent of his own match type of person. And so the match should have turned out way different than this. Unfortunately, Daniel Bryan has been presented in such a wishy-washy manner. Like it's just as the wind blows, he's going to be a babyface or a heel.
Literally.
Yeah, and that just doesn't work. People want to love and respect him. Can we stop pretending he's a heel for, you know, even if he's good at it, that's beside the point. Can we just stop pretending he is a heel, because now everybody has known this guy for so long. They're on his side with all the stuff that he's overcome, and he's fucking wrestling with a broken arm right now.
Yeah.
So who in their right mind is going to boo him?
The idiots. You know what's weird too? The biggest heel in the company right now is probably Christian.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But he's so good at it, people are enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Like, they can't wait to see whose dad he's going to insult next.
Jesus Christ. Man, for me, he's the guy, the MVP this year for AEW, in a way.
At this point, I think
hero.
Christian needs to feud with Zelina Vega. That would be great.
Oh, no. No, that's too much, man. Can you imagine that? No, come on, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's
on 9/11 too.
I am imagining it. Yeah. Christian's great.
Oh, boy.
All right. So, Big Bill is a giant fucking dude. At one point here, he hits a big boot on Brian, who is seated on the fucking turnbuckle. And I'm just like, fuck. This dude is big enough to hit a big boot on somebody sitting on the fucking turnbuckle. He's got abs for days. He's charismatic. And he still just doesn't get any fucking TV time until he happens to be paired with Ricky Starks. So I'm glad that they've got these two working together, if for no other reason than I like Ricky Starks, but Big Bill deserves a fucking shot. Like, how do you not take a swing with this fucking guy? I know they did it WWE and they didn't think that it worked out. But
no. He was getting pushed and he fucked it up, Chris. That's what happened. Hence why the release. He was obsessed with Carmella at the time, who broke up with him, so they had to get rid of him. You know what I mean? He was causing too much trouble.
Also, he's a drug addict, so
that too, and an alcoholic as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But
he's cleaned himself up, right?
Yeah, apparently,
and that's one of the things. That's why this shit can happen, because everybody knows that they've got him over a barrel, so he'll do whatever they say. You know what I mean?
Didn't he have a seizure too at an indie event? If you remember, yeah,
supposedly, yep.
It still just seems stupid to me to not take a swing with the guy, because I think you could make money with him. If you've got a guy over a barrel and you're like, yeah, you're gonna do whatever I say. To me, make the most money you can with him. Don't just use him to fucking job to people. Like, that's stupid. If you can make money with him,
name a giant that they're making money with.
Exactly.
Well,
anyone. Any
Exactly,
giant,
but
name
they
any
could.
giant anywhere. They don't know how to do it. The
They
reason
don't. You're
being,
right.
But how?
'Cause-
Do you not know?
because they don't want him to be the guy, but they can't think of a reason why he couldn't be the guy, so they just sign him and then don't do anything with him. They sign
And what
those
about-
guys like
Okay, but Wardlow, why heat him up so much just to cool him right?
Wardlow's
down?
not even a giant. I'm talking about giants.
but AEW, you know, why is
It doesn't matter who.
he's
Like
big.
look at how do you fuck Omos up? Because you can't think of a reason why a 7-foot monster wouldn't be the champion and just beat the shit out of everybody.
You're right.
Same thing
I agree
that
with you
happened.
totally.
Same thing they did. They actually did it with Great Khali. They were like, "Well, you're right. He would beat everybody,
And
so
that
he's the champion."
disgusted me though. Ugh.
I mean,
It's just
but
his look.
come on,
You know
look
how
at
I
him.
feel. I know,
Look at him,
but
bro.
you know me,
So-
and you know.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying.
What I'm saying is that's not the same situation here. Bill can
That's
work.
true. That's true.
He's-
That's true.
He can move. Like the Great Khali could barely fucking walk.
Yeah,
Let's
what was
be
his
real.
finisher? A fucking chop and a fucking.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
champion. Ah.
Yeah, so you know that's what Bill gets for learning how to work. All he should have
Bill.
done was chop people in the head. He would have been
There you
champion.
go.
That's
There
it.
you go.
And go
Would've been
chop
champion.
sweep. That's
All
it.
right. So the
Over.
ref at one point is yelling at Ricky. He says, "Listen, when I'm telling you to get out of the corner, I mean get out of the goddamn corner." And I was like, "Oh, good. No, I like that.
Good.
No, that's
But
great."
get this. Did you notice the referee trend? When they're on the outside, instead of counting at all, come back in the ring. Come back in the ring. Come on, guys. Come back in the ring. Come back.
Yeah, that's-
I'm waiting for a count, though. 1, 2, still no count. Come back in the ring, guys. Come on. Still no
Yeah.
count.
No,
Come on,
your
man.
referee, you can't fucking bury the ref. Like you just can't. That's literally. I would say that it is way safer, and I mean significantly by a mile. It is safer to bury the talent in the ring than it is to bury the fucking ref, because the referee is the structure of the fucking match. That's what he's there to be. He's there to tell the story of how the match is supposed to go. And if you bury that fucking guy, then you have no fucking basis for the match. You have nothing to work inside of. You're creating a world. The referee is the one who's keeping the world where it needs to be, right? If you bury your fucking ref, the world is nothing. It's just whatever the fuck is going on, and nobody wants to watch that. People don't want to watch just random fucking nothingness. They want to understand the game. They want to understand the competition. They want to understand what they're watching. That's what the
Wow.
referee's job is. When you bury the ref, you just bury the whole fucking show. I hate that
Unfortunately,
shit.
the AEW marktards on the Twitter and all that think there's nothing wrong with the referees and whatnot.
Yeah,
Who am I
well,
to judge? What do I know?
They
those
wouldn't know. They've
people-
never seen one.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
that's-
Exactly. The referee really. I love when I see shit like that. That's why I'm pointing it out. Right when the referee said to Ricky Starks, "Ricky, when I tell you get out of the corner, get out of the corner." It's like, yes, more of this, please. Because if you're watching MMA, right, you don't fuck with the ref. Okay, you do not fuck with Big John McCarthy. He'll fucking disqualify you. He'll take a point away from you. Right? You just don't do it. Right? And the thing with wrestling is that you can use that as a way to tell a story, right? You can use the referee as another way to tell stories in professional wrestling, but they just fucking bury them, and it drives me nuts. I hate this. I hate that shit. It's just so every time I see a referee do the right thing, I'm gonna call it out. And generally, when we see the referee do a bad thing, we're gonna fucking call it out because that's what we do on this show.
That's it.
This honestly, I thought this turned into a decent little tag match, although there were a few slips and fuck ups. Definitely not any major botches, but there was a few times where it seemed like people's feet were kind of in the wrong place, sort of thing. Or, but it looked good because that's kind of what a fight looks like, right? Like it doesn't look clean. It doesn't look like a perfect ballet routine in a real fight. I like Nigel calling out specific things in this match too. Like he goes, shift your hips, Ricky, shift your hips, right? Which most people have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, right? But if you've watched wrestling for a long enough time, you understand that that's a specific thing to get out of the corner spot, right? It's a specific thing he needs to do to get out of the corner spot. And then Ricky Starks did exactly that and got out of the corner spot. That's a nice little touch that I really think is missing in a lot of pro wrestling. And then the heels got the fucking win, bro. I was very surprised to see Starks and Big Bill get the win here, but happily
and as
surprised.
they should, right?
Yeah,
they should have gotten the win.
They
I
should
think
be trying
about
to
that
build
too, right?
people. They should. They can't just keep taking the most recent retired WWE superstar who retired because their neck is fucked. Give them a doctor who knows less about neck surgeries to clear them and then sign them. And you can't just have that as your company. You've got to try to build actual stars. So I like the fact that they got the win here. And I like the fact that it wasn't clean. It was a heel win, right? It was cheat to win. That's the way the heels are supposed to fucking do it. So I like that. Yeah. Vet, what did you think of the opening match?
Everyone will remember September 16th, 2023 as the day that Ricky Starks became a star by pinning Daniel Bryan in an opening tag match on a cable show. That's on Saturday night that they could only sell 3,000 tickets to. It will go down in infamy as the moment. Right. We'll all turn back to this when Ricky Starks eventually gets his WWE documentary on Peacock.
Just remember this. Remember, next week is Grand Slam, Vet. We got 6,000 paying people in a $25,000 seated stadium. So
6,000 so far.
6,000, bro.
What do I think of the match? I think I don't know. I wasn't. It looked like guys doing stuff. So unfortunately, none of these people were on my a la carte order. So I just kind of was like, yeah.
For me, I was just pleasantly surprised that Bill and Starks won. I was like, wow, they finally let him win. But unfortunately for them, overall, they're going to lose this program. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to actually push these guys. Okay, they want to try with Starks, but all that starting and stopping, unfortunately for him, has stumped his momentum. But we'll see where they go with him. Bill is just there, man. I feel like, you know what I mean? He's there to be the heater for Starks. He's Diesel without the personality of Diesel. And when I say that, they're not allowing him to have a personality, really.
Right. I mean, that's fine. But the problem is, the problem with him is the same thing that's a problem for a lot of these guys. Like, you did not have the foresight when you brought them in. When Big Bill came in, W. Morrissey, whatever he was originally called or whatever, you job him out for a while. Yeah. You job him to everybody until you decide you want to stop. But it's too late. At that point, everybody's already made up their mind what you are. They did that with Wardlow too. Like, when Wardlow went on that winning streak, he had already lost to pretty much everybody that he'd been put in a match against. Facts. Whether it was Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, any other former WWE guys, just other guys, like they would only drag him out as MJF's bodyguard to lose before the MJF match. And then you want to do the undefeated streak? No. You got to start undefeated, stay undefeated. Otherwise, the undefeated, who cares if you get an undefeated streak in the middle of your career after you already lost 10? It doesn't matter anymore. So, it's really hard to reprogram people's minds, because even if they're not consciously thinking about that at the time, some in the longtime AEW fans in the back of their mind, they see him. They know, they're conditioned to see when Big Bill comes out, besides the jobber ass name of Big Bill. I'd love for if everybody in wrestling stopped being Big something. That can go away. That's a tired old trope for sure. But they've already, when they see him, they know, probably a loss. That's just what they think. Well, listen to you guys. You're both like, wow, the heels won.
I was shocked.
What percentage of that attitude is the fact that Big Bill was on the team?
That's true. Facts. Legitly, I was like, wow, they fucking, and it was the right choice too.
Think of what they've done to you. You two who have watched wrestling your whole lives, and you're just like, God, I can't believe the 7-foot guy won.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
No, it's sad. It's sad, man. But that's AEW 2023 professional wrestling. I mean, it's crazy, and it's the same thing with Brian Cage. the way they've handled him.
He hasn't won a match yet, so we're just waiting.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
exactly. True.
Every single time, I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. Time for back-to-back-to-back promos. Not all of them have to do with each other either, so that's cool. The Elite called the Embassy dweebs. That was pretty much the highlight of the promo. They're going to go for the ROH Trios Tag Team Championships because we don't already have enough fucking belts on this fucking goddamn fucking
It's
show.
called the 6-man titles, Bucks, just quietly, not the friggin' trios, but anyway.
Right.
Why is
in
Ring of Honor
ROH, it's
taking
the
over?
6-man championships.
And why is Ring of Honor
dweebs
taking over?
hasn't been a thing people call each other since like 1982. Stop that.
I was born in 82, Chris. Yeah.
Well, you were the last person to be called a dweeb. And after that, everyone said, it just doesn't fucking fit. This is the person who we invented the word for. We can't use the word anymore.
Fucking dweebs.
Yeah. Hobbs wants to beat up Miro, and Miro is angry and talks about his wife and redeeming people who get in his way.
What does that even mean? Like, what does he do to redeem people, if you get my drift?
I don't know. He beats them up.
Oh, I see. Well,
Somehow
whatever
that's
he's
redemption.
redeeming.
Basically, I guess what we're trying to say here is, with these 3 promos, if you've seen any of these guys do this once, you've seen it this time.
100%. Just hot and flexible was the new words added. That's all.
Yeah, but I've heard him say that 100 times.
Oh, true. That's true.
And yeah, I don't like this. I really don't like this where it's promo and then promo, right?
And
I don't.
Promo.
It really fucks up the show unless they're promos that have to do with each other, right? If we did the back-to-back with Hobbs and Miro, it makes sense for the show. We can move on.
Right, exactly.
But having the first one with the Elite where they're talking about the Embassy and then going to Hobbs and then going to Miro, it's like, no. Why isn't this just formatted with a tiny little bit of foresight? Put a match in between those things.
Have you noticed the format of this show already? Just tonight, tag match, tag match, tag match. What's it called? Promo, tag, singles match.
It's not. Yeah, well, and there's more. There's more than
pathetic.
just that. I mean, the formatting can definitely get fucked on this show.
Saying,
like, we'll
format
get into just how bad it gets. But speaking of tag matches, Jimmy, we've got another tag match next.
Another one. Is it the third one now or second one in a row?
It's the second one so far.
We have a third one in a row too after that, I think. Yeah.
Indeed. So it's the Iron Savages. The bear, the Savage Bear Iron.
Savage Bears.
The Iron Bears. The Iron Savage Bears.
From the country.
Savage Country.
Savage Country Iron Bears.
Iron Country.
Iron Bears. Savage Country Iron Bears. Sounds funny.
Country
Iron. The Iron Bears from the Savage Country. I think we've got it. I think we
actually. Oh,
and Jack Jameson.
Yeah, that guy. He's really annoying. He yells on his way to the ring. I don't know. He yells quite a bit when he's coming to the ring, and that's Roddy Strong's gimmick, brother. No infringement.
Yeah.
I don't get what the Iron Savage's gimmicks is.
They're gym junkies, bro. That's what they are, legitly. That's the gimmick.
They don't look like gym junkies.
They don't, but that's the gimmick. Literally.
That might be the rib. That might be the
rib. Oh, maybe, yeah.
Also, I'm not sure. And I'm gonna try to be quiet here because my daughter's in the room here. But when I see a grown man do this,
that's exactly what you think it means.
That means you're eating pussy. And
or
listen.
Never mind.
The other thing, there's another thing.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Anyway,
listen, I'm all for that. Okay, trust me, I'm all for that. Okay, but
wait, what?
A wrestling gimmick that does not make.
It's a gimmick, damn it! Stop complaining, Chris.
It's not a gimmick. It's a catchrize or a gesture.
Yeah, but it's like,
is this what we're gonna do?
I don't understand. They did that 3 times in this match. It's like, what am I meant to take from
So
this?
Is it like Titus O'Neil go ooh ooh ooh?
No. When did they do that? They did that. The one guy did that. He said it right to the camera.
Yeah.
I think it was either the week before or 2 weeks ago. Whenever these guys came out to do something, and he definitely made an ass-eating reference. I think it was because he was in the match with Billy Gunn or something like that. So somebody in the chat knows. Just put it up, but just tell us what it was when they did it. But they did to the camera, and either they saw themselves back and was like, we should keep doing that because we'll turn it into the new Scissor, or someone else told them they should. But either way, that's why they're doing it. So now they're going to go with, I guess they figured scissoring can get over, and now ass eating is going to get over.
Of course.
Only problem, nothing wrong with it, but they're always in there with dudes. So I don't know if they're telling us anything, but what else is left to take from it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
Anyway, if you want to wrap this segment real quick, that's great for me
let's
and
get
everyone
the fuck
else.
out of here. Power and glory for the win. I actually thought that this was a good example. Weird fucking things.
You did the motion, Chris.
Weird gestures out of the way. I actually thought that this was a good example of a quick match where people actually maximized their minutes. Like,
right, I agree with that.
Bear Country came out. Iron Savages came out. This is one of the fucking problems with this company. They change people's name. It was W. Morrissey, then it was Will Morrissey, then it's Big Bill, and now that'll change in another 6 months. It's like fucking pick something and stick with it.
It's Tourette's booking, bro.
Iron Bears. They came out and they dominated the early part of this match. And I mean, this was like a 5-minute match. So to say they dominated the early part of it is like, what are you fucking saying? This was a tiny, tiny match. But they came out and they showed their power, right? They both did big power spots, right? The big fucking dude did a second rope moonsault, which was pretty impressive for a guy his size, obviously, right?
Sure.
And then, FTR go over strong with the power and glory. It's like, this was a really good example of people maximizing their minutes. You don't need a 15-minute match every single time to get yourself over. Sometimes, and I would contend more often, you're going to get yourself over better by doing like 2 really cool spots and then get to the finish.
I agree.
Not the blow off of a feud. The blow off of a feud needs time, it needs to build, etc. But on a regular fucking show where you're just there for a match, you really don't need 15 minutes. In fact, I honestly think it's a detriment to most people.
Can I say, is there something wrong with me because I enjoyed this match? For 5 minutes, it was actually a good match.
That's what I mean. They maximized their minutes. This was an example of like, they didn't take a bunch of my fucking time. I didn't feel like, I didn't start checking my fucking watch and going, how long is this fucking match going for? Right? But they came out, they did impressive things, right? They definitely did things where you're going, oh, wow, yeah, look at that. Wow, that guy's fucking strong, isn't he? A moonsault from that fucking dude. Cool. Oh, the match is over. All right, cool. We can move on. That's a really good example of, hey, 5 minutes, you can fucking do a lot in 5 minutes. When you see modern wrestlers get a boo-boo face because they've been told 5 minutes, grow up. 5 minutes is plenty of time if you're good. Like, really.
No, really, you're right. Spot on.
So it's also nice, if you're FTR, it's also nice to just be able to say, yeah, man, do all those things that you do. We're going to kick out and beat you.
Yeah. He should have, what's his name? Cashton? Should have fucking done a before he pinned it, before the power and glory, like a shotgun sort of look.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Absolutely. They should have went over with
we want to do gestures.
Yeah.
They should have went over with the leg drop. Anyway, next up, business really picks up because the Workhorsemen come out and they get a tag match for next week.
Why?
Is this a rib? Is this... Who the fuck are these guys? Why did it look like 2 guys from the ring setup crew came out and got a fucking tag match? Why did it look like 2 guys who handled the electrical problems backstage came out and got a fucking tag match? Who the fuck are these guys?
Oh, this is the Workhorsemen. This is Anthony Henry and JD Drake. Everybody knows them.
I don't.
Oh,
they're jobbers, Chris.
Well, you're out of touch, Chris.
Why are they fucking dressed like this? Like,
that's how they
dress. Bums, Chris. They're bums.
Oh, well, you think this is bad? Wait till you see the match.
Oh yeah,
next week.
Why does JD Drake even still have a contract with his damn company?
I don't know. Because he's a workhorse, man.
Oh, a workhorse man. Something like that. Not man, men. Something.
He's a workhorse.
I see what you did there.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, this company continues to prove how professional they are as we hear the director call out AEW Collision, take 73.
22. 22. Wow, dude. What the fucking amateur hour was this?
I mean, somebody said, "Oh, they did it on purpose."
No. Yeah, and if they did, you're a joke. That wasn't on purpose, man.
This is like wrestler A goes out and shits themselves in the ring, and somebody goes, "Oh, it's part of their gimmick." Not a good gimmick. This
What is it?
not gonna get over. This isn't good.
And the meme that's going around about, remember Paul Walter? Boy, is it getting worse for poor old Keith Lee.
Poor Keith Lee.
It's getting worse. There's more memes now for fucking Keithy. I'm going to call him Keithy from now on. That's all he is. He's not even a Lee. He's just Keithy.
Anyway, Keithy is there for a backstage interview, which lasts all of 4 seconds.
22 takes, Chris.
Before a fat mechanic named Shane and his girlfriend Moriarty come into the shot, and I guess Moriarty wants a date with Keith or something like that. I don't know exactly what's.
Wait, wasn't Moriarty part of a crew?
Was. Now I have to correct you. I have to correct you there. No, the fat mechanic. I said his name was JD Drake. Okay, that is the fat mechanic.
Okay.
How old is he?
I don't know
60?
who this Shane guy is, but
this is that Shane Taylor guy that you never heard of.
Oh, Shane Taylor. Yeah.
Then we told you who he was, and now you've seen him.
Yeah, I sure have.
Yep. There's nothing more to see now, Chris.
Moving on. John Silver says the Acclaimed are doing scissoring wrong because he Googled it.
I've had enough. This is the sexual innuendo of this show is just getting ridiculous, and not just any sexual innuendo, but we're talking about poofy innuendo.
It's booked by a 12-year-old on cocaine.
Wow.
I mean, boobies, scissoring. Look, this guy eats ass. Fuck.
Oh man, R.I.P. Collision already, dude.
Fucking hell. The Acclaimed are banned from the ringside for a singles match between Silver and Bowens. So Silver does the proper heel thing here by saying no scissor party tonight, which is exactly what the university campus wanted. They wanted scissoring. Damn it. And the heel took it away, but he was also funny about it, and that's probably not good heel work.
You had the contract.
Yep, you sure did. I liked the idea of this match more than I liked the match. And I didn't like the idea of the match.
That doesn't make sense, Chris. Welcome to AEW. Woo! Nah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, Chris?
So listen, it's two essentially homegrown guys having a bit of time on TV. I don't mind that. I think that's a good idea for this company. They like I said, they got to stop doing the, hey, did you have a broken neck in the WWE and you had to retire? Come to AEW. We'll find a quack doctor to clear you.
I thought it was Kevorkian, Dr. Kevorkian.
Well, that would be an entirely different. That would be like if the Undertaker started a wrestling company, he might have Dr. Kevorkian helping him out. Anyway, I like the idea of taking a couple of guys who basically have started their career. Like, I know that they both worked indies. I don't give a shit. I've never fucking seen either of them before. I never heard anything about either of them before they got to AEW. Right? So I like the idea, but I don't care. I can't care about the fucking Dark Order. You know, they were goofs when they were heels. They were goofs when they were faces. They're back to being heels, and they're still fucking goofs. Nothing about this is interesting at all, and nothing about them has changed. That's the thing, is like it's the exact same fucking. Yep. Evil Uno helps Silver get the win, and Nigel calls it, it's a real upset, and I went, yeah, I'm upset you took 5 minutes of my time. Anyway,
yeah, nah, fuck
this unless anybody has anything particularly brilliant to say, we'll move on. All right, fuck this match. Eddie, Fat Eddie. Good old Fat Eddie. Fat New York Eddie. He's backstage. And he's fired up, man. And he says fuck and New York about 6 times. I'm from New York. And in New York, we know fucking how to fucking fight. And New York's on my fucking side. New York, fuck. Fuck New York. New York, fuck. Fuckity, fuck New York. Did I miss anything?
No, but this is the highlight of the program by far.
All right. Anyway, there's Eddie. He's getting
me.
set up for a match against
Fuck.
Claudio Stramboli.
Stramboli? Carbonara? Claudio Carbonara?
That doesn't rhyme. That doesn't rhyme. I got to keep it right.
Claudio fucking Cannoli.
Claudio Cannoli. Yep.
Yeah.
Claudio Ravioli. There's a bunch of things we can use. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. Maybe we should start a new show where we can just rhyme with AEW wrestlers.
Anyway, Orange Cassidy and Hook are eating chips backstage. They're mic'd up and eating chips, which is really fucking annoying. And hey, should we have a match?
Nobody on this program has done that today.
No, well,
Excuse
not
me?
on
Me?
not with the fucking audio. Jesus Christ.
Should have done
Sorry.
it. It's good content.
I should have. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, they're gonna have a match or whatever. They're gonna have a tag match at some point. They don't know who against though. They're just gonna they're gonna team up and have a match.
I take
Why
it
so
back.
many
This is the
tags?
highlight of the show.
This is definitely the highlight of the show. Yeah.
Hey, do you guys think we could get a Doritos sponsorship for HMG? Like if we all had we all had a bag of the Doritos and like we hold it to the camera and it looks like one of us is reaching in, but we're just reaching into the bag that we have and it looks like we're taking it from each other.
That's a good spot.
Hey,
That's
a good spot. And guess what, guys? I don't know if you guys want to try it, but I don't know if you guys even got it. But I was telling you, Chris, a while ago, and I think Jeff. But you know what they sell at my local Kmart, guys?
Huh.
Dorito underwear. It's Doritos. Now, I don't know if it smells like fucking nacho cheese or whatnot.
So it's Dorito branded or they made
Yeah, no, it is Dorito.
they made underwear out of corn.
No, I don't know, bro. I was going to take a picture just so I could show you guys, but I kid you not. It is Doritos under. I thought they were chips, man. I'm like, what the fuck are Doritos doing in the underwear section?
Edible.
And then I realized
They're edible.
maybe-
They taste like fucking
maybe it's
Doritos.
Yeah.
Oh
that's the
my
thing.
god.
Dorito
Why did Bear
fucking
Country?
underwear.
Why did Bear Country have to do this to us?
You think I'm joking? I'm not joking, but that's what's funny.
Shit.
You know.
Doritos.
right. Next up, we have Aussie Open, and they win a quick one against some jobbers, and then they get on the microphone. And God, why did they have to get on the microphone? They talk about all the championships that they've won, the championships. We won the ROH tag team championships and the New Japan championships. And this is why I asked you last night, Jimmy, because you're Australian. What the fuck is a championship? And why are they not? Do you not pronounce the first P in championship in Australia? I don't get what the fuck that he was talking about.
I don't know who those motherfuckers are, but it's pronounced championship. Okay, guys? For crying out loud. Not championship. Yep.
Not to be confused with champion chips, which are Doritos.
Which are the new
Above and
sponsors
beyond.
of HMG.
That's
no,
right.
Just kidding. All right.
Now with underwear.
Yeah, it's true. I'll show you guys. You'll see.
The heels, of course, end this by saying Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
No. Sorry.
Right, which
I'm not going to do it. I'm a heel
why are
now.
you getting crowd response chants if you're a heel? What are you doing?
I have no idea. Why
fuck
does
does
the
it
other
matter?
guy growl at the camera all the time, week in, week out?
That fucking dude, his facials are one of the most ridiculous things I have seen on this show. Like, one of the most ridiculous things. And it stands out. The fact that your facials stand out as something that's fucking stupid, bro, is like, somebody's got to take that guy to the side and be like, dude, stop it. Stop.
On behalf of Australia, I'm sorry. Just that's how he does it. That's exactly how he does it. Yeah, and championships. Enough of the facials and championships. Yep, whatever it was.
Cut it the fuck out. Your facial reactions can't be at 100 all the time. If they're at 100 all the time, it means you have nowhere to go. Nobody knows if you're actually mad or not because you're already fucking mad. You came to the ring with your face contorted up like you were being electrocuted, for fuck's sakes.
Well, yeah. What can I tell you, Chris?
Don't you listen to these guys, Dunkzilla. You just keep doing what you're doing and making those faces. And one day you're going to make it, kid.
No.
He's in his 30s, unfortunately, though, Vet.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware.
Good.
Champion
I'm glad he's old. That means I only have to deal with him and his.
But Kyle Fletcher's very
facials
young,
for
though,
a
unfortunately for us.
I have faith that Kyle Fletcher can figure something out.
Do you really?
Yeah. He's not.
Oh, wow.
He's young enough. He's athletic enough. He can probably figure something out. He'll be the guy who winds up in OVW at 50, finally having figured everything out.
And does he pronounce championships properly after that? Or is it
No, he never does. That becomes his gimmick. Championships. I am the world champion.
The world champion.
Fuck.
Oh boy.
All
Not only
right,
do
Tony
they need to
Storm.
learn how to wrestle, but they need to learn how to speak English too. God damn it.
Yeah.
Is
you
it Tony
Australians-
time?
It's Tony time.
Speaking of Australians, they will go from one
No.
Australian to another Australian.
Tony
This is what
Storm.
you wanted, right, Chris? This is exactly what you wanted, isn't
This
it?
is okay. Seriously though, did I not actually call for her to be in a black and white segment? Did I not actually say, wouldn't that be funny? And then they did it. That's whoever it is who's listening to our show at AEW, you're welcome. Keep stealing our shit. It's fun. I don't even care. I don't want credit. I don't want any money. Just keep stealing our shit because it's fun to see exactly what I wanted on screen. Tony Storm gives an interview where she says that the business used to be about making stars and making money, which yes, and not signing every woman with a sob story, which yes.
I
And
wonder
then
who
there's a
she's
black and white
referring to,
background.
though.
So
Yeah.
black and white background. So you're welcome. You're welcome. That was fun.
You're welcome.
Vet, what did
If
you
you
think of
didn't-
this segment?
If you didn't see, first of all, if you didn't see this, the interview was in full color. Okay, it was only bookended by black and white little cards, but whatever.
was
What do I
Betamax.
think of this? This isn't exactly what you said. It was okay, but it's fine. I like RJ City too, but he didn't really do anything here. He just played the straight man, which is never a good thing.
RJ
It's
City,
never.
straight
It's
man.
never. Yes, exactly. It's never a good thing when you're more ridiculous than RJ City. Like that's bad for business.
That's a good call.
So, but yeah, so Tony Storm continues to act like no human would, unless it was 100 years ago.
Yep.
And that's great.
Can we get the Vaudevillains coming back in AEW and she can be part of it? Is that what
that'd
could
be-
happen?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right,
Canoa
Jimmy.
over.
All right, Jimmy. I like this. Vet didn't. What did you think?
You know what? I feel like where they're going. I mean, I know where they're trying to go, but I'm not seeing enough. We need to see like some sort of vignettes, some sort of storytelling on what's happening with her. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like build something, do some freaking movie spots somewhere, or in a hotel. She goes to a club. I have no idea, but do something. You know what I mean? Like what happened to Pero Peligroso? Preston Vance and Rush and that cinematic video they were doing where they were stabbing people. Remember that?
They're still stabbing people. There's lots of.
They
There's
still
lots.
are
Of,
after
have
3
you ever
months
been
ago,
to
right?
Mexico, Jimmy? There's lots of stabbing to do.
Well, my point is they did something with that and went nowhere, as they always do. How about you invest into something with Tony Storm, since you always like her being on television? Do something. Do some vignettes. Something. We're not seeing really any progression with this shit, man. And that's what's annoying. Other than that, for sure, it's cool. But like the vet said earlier, once you've seen it once, you've seen it every time. So I want something different.
To be completely honest, the reason why I will take something like this and shit on it, it's not necessarily because of the entertainment value or the potential or anything like that. It's just I've already seen into the future where it's going, which is
what I'm
nowhere. It
saying.
will never go anywhere. They will just do these things, and then you will just have a wrestling match, and your wrestling match will have nothing to do with any of this. You're not going to incorporate it into your match, and if you did, it would be stupid. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm just already fast forwarding to the end, and I've already seen it. So there's just really no point in wasting time with it, is how I really feel about it. Tony Storm is always, first of all, she's always fine to look at. She's always good at whatever she's doing, it seems like.
Yep.
It's just that I know that no matter how good this is, it will eventually not pay off in any significant way. So,
But wouldn't it frustrate her, you think? She gets frustrated easy, as we know, with her WWE run.
I think
Yeah,
she's
this
having
is
fun.
frustrating.
She seems like she's having fun.
everybody in the
happy.
WWE gets frustrated.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
They don't all stick up for themselves like she does.
Right.
What does that tell you? Like, they try to paint people like her or Mercedes
crybabies.
and Trinity as they're the villains for walking out on this, this totally wholesome corporation, right? Like WWE's never done anything to anybody. How could these ungrateful bitches just walk the fuck out? Well, maybe you should really look at that. But anyway, let's continue looking at the Wreckage.
Let's continue doing that. Tune in to a special episode later, though, as we compare the WWE to Scientology and why those two things are very similar.
Are you sure it's not AEW and Scientology and why those two are actually similar?
Well, they both make the same amount of sense, but I was referring to how ridiculously angry they get when people say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this. Anyway, next up, Scorpio Sky and Andrade El Idolo. Scorpio Sky cuts a promo beforehand saying, the last time we had a match, I was making a comeback. The only difference is this time I'm not making a comeback. I'm already here. And I went, are you though? So I don't remember seeing you much.
It's just like, what do you want to talk about? But he's asking the people. But the
he
people
meant
can't talk
tonight.
Back.
He meant that night. He's there.
That night.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he snapped. He snapped.
So,
the lights went out.
Oh, I see.
This was another interesting matchup on paper. Both of these guys are considered to be high potential acts, right? Like,
but
both of these guys have had people say, "Oh, I see something here," right? But they're both guys who don't seem capable of getting to the next level. Like, they both have something, but they lack something really important too, right? With Andrade, he just can't fucking talk. Like, and he keeps trying to, right? Like, and God bless him for trying, but at the same time, get yourself a fucking Paul Heyman or something, right? Like, I obviously know that Paul Heymans don't grow on fucking trees. What I'm saying is, get yourself somebody who can talk for you, right?
What about the Don Callis family, the Familia?
Sure, why not? Why not? Don Callis is a pretty decent mouthpiece, right? I don't give a shit about Takeshita, so maybe he's not a great mouthpiece. But anyway, moving on. And Scorpio Sky is one of those guys who physically seems to have everything, but he seems to be a little injury prone. His career feels like he should be 25 years old, and he's 40. Right? So 45. He's already. He seems like, a prospect who's way too fucking old to be a prospect.
He's always been a prospect, though. That's the problem. He's never gone to that next level.
Right. He's got something, but he doesn't have everything. So it's two guys with like a lot of potential, but a lot of flaws too. So on paper, it's a decent looking match. The match was pretty good too, because they have similar styles, right? And you see that they're both trying to stop the other one from using, high flying attacks while using high flying attacks themselves, which I found to be sort of an interesting little wrinkle to the match, right? Usually you've got a guy who's trying to keep the high flyer grounded, right? And then you've got the high flyer who's just trying to break out and do his big fucking moves, right? So that creates this situation where the crowd is excited. They want to see the high flyer do the moves. They're mad at the other guy for keeping them down, right? And this match was a little bit different, where they were both trying to keep the other guy down, but also using high flying moves. So anyway, just an interesting little wrinkle that I thought. Figure 8 gets the win for Andrade and goes for a handshake afterwards and gets it. So handshake from Scorpio Sky, and yeah.
I didn't know we had. Did you guys notice we had the Ring of Honor ring announcer for Collision? We had the Honor Code for Collision. We got trios. 6-man championships for Collision. Go check that out.
Saturday night's all right for Ring of Honor.
yeah, exactly. It's sad, man. And as far as Andrade goes, where is my mask? That's all I care about. I want to see him with his mask.
You saw him.
He had it.
He came out with his mask.
He had it.
And then someone take it so he can find his mask again. What's the point of his mask anyway? Like, really? If you're not going to wear it, why bring it?
Well, it's ceremonial, it's like ring gear, you have your robe, and you don't wear the
but
robe in the ring and for a match.
People
could grab it and use it against you.
Well, he used to wear the mask in the ring.
What kind of crazy person would wear a mask in the wrestling ring?
Not that mask, but still.
Yeah, not that mask.
What happened to Los Ingobernables de AEW?
Remember they got kidnapped by Mexico?
Yeah, and
cartel?
what happened after that?
Well,
Nothing.
you guys already talked about it. They're either stabbing people or they got stabbed to death off screen by somebody else, and that's why we haven't heard from them. Either
There's
way,
no continuity, Vet. It's just are we supposed to just forget that even
yes,
happened?
yes, until they remind you and they remember. It doesn't
Also,
matter.
the announced team straight up called Andrade the ungovernable one, which is like, if he's not part of the fucking group, stop doing that.
Look, guys, there's something you have to understand. When you're Los Ingobernables, you're Los Ingobernables for life, brother, okay? You don't ever get out. He's still doing the salute, okay? When he gets in the ring, every time that fist up is the Los Ingobernables salute. So,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
So Scorpio Sky has all the potential to be a star.
Yes.
In OVW. Other than that, yawn. Okay. Now Andrade is all the things that everybody thinks he is, but he doesn't even need the talking. He needs the mystique of not talking.
Yep.
That would help him because he's got everything else you need. And for the people that have seen him in the past and know what he's capable of, you know what I'm talking about. Some guys, there's enough guys talking in wrestling, okay? Whether they're good at it or not, there's plenty of them. And they don't all need to. Once in a while, I'd like a guy to be quiet, please. And when you're as talented as Andrade, you can be that guy who's not the guy that's cutting promos and stuff. It's a myth that you need to be able to talk to draw money in wrestling. Someone else can always talk, not just for you, but just separate from you.
Goldberg
like everyone always said, every time I hear the word mouthpiece, I feel like a cat that's been pet the wrong way. Like I'm so tired of hearing these same ass things from people who are just parroting what they've heard, but give them a mouth, but shut the fuck up. Take away your mouthpiece. Don't tell me somebody needs a manager to talk or they'll never get over in wrestling. Don't tell me you need to speak English to get over in America. No, you don't. What you need is somebody that has a vision for you that can execute the vision for you. Okay? That's what you need. And you need to have the talent to pull it off. Andrade has that. He's had it in the past. I've seen it. And if I can see it through his failures, then I know that with someone that shares my vision, he could have great success.
Hey, I loved him as La Sombra, just quietly.
Right. I mean,
with his mask.
You've seen that. You've seen his NXT. Look, there's so many people in that NXT run in that period. You know, there's so many of them that are doing big things now, you know, and he's just not one for whatever reasons, whatever personal reasons, whatever the things are, you know.
Do you think he complains a lot in the back, and that's why he's not getting really any start? Well, they're giving him a start, stop.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about him, and according to everybody else in the world, no one would understand him if he was complaining. So how would it make a difference?
He speaks English.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, what I saw here was a match between a guy that is just as limitless as Keith Lee and the future OVW champion.
Right on. Well, speaking of future OVW champions, Jay White is out next with the Bullet Club.
You don't believe that anymore either.
I don't. No, he's great.
Hey, wait a minute. Why have you got weed in the background suddenly?
I have no idea. I don't have control over
I didn't change it. That's weird.
It is weird.
Is someone ribbing us? Did someone come in and do that and run away? I could picture that. Must have happened that way. Anyway,
my guess is Ben's setting something up for later.
Well,
all right. So Jay
Ben.
White comes out and he's like, hello. Wait a minute. Where are we?
Oh.
Hello, Penn State. It's like, oh my God, fucking love
that
it.
was good.
Look who's in the house.
Stuff. Oh,
the Ayatollah.
Yes.
Boss is here.
My goodness.
What's good, infidels, y'all? That's right, red hot. After the conspiracy against me last night at Immortal Championship Wrestling thickens. And I think you guys might be in on it, as I tried to stream live at twitch.tv/Hameen Media and was kicked off my own platform today.
Oh, no. Really? What,
Yeah.
just now? You were going to go live now?
We were just double
shit.
booked. I just finished a very important conversation. It's on my YouTube, and I'll put it out as bonus content, Channel Attitude and Patreon, with Mayor Hal from Homer, New York, and Cannabis Association in New York. My advocate, our advocate here, just an awesome dude, and a guy who actually has good wrestling ties from the Attitude Era. So he was working for AOL and did a lot of crossover back in the day, and they actually wanted him in WWE office, and he did plenty of shows. So he's a look at that big son of a bitch. He's a big dude too, and it was a great conversation as we shift focus into the cannabis war that I'm in. But I saw you guys were still live, and I just wanted to come in and say thank you so much for sitting through all the wreckage, sifting through it all after all the collisions, and and towing the line here. I don't get to interact with Jimmy T and Chris Ambs as much as I should, and I just wanted to show appreciation for you guys and everything that you do here at HMG.
And I've seen you give us shout-outs all the time on your shows, man, and we appreciate that, believe me. And I would ask you to jump on the shows, but I know how busy you are, man, especially the amount of shows that you do. I don't want to bust your balls because I know how that feels, especially considering how many shows we do too. So I totally feel you, man.
I appreciate that restraint. It's not that I don't want to. I'm just at 105 hours a week, and it's just a lot. Bro. And you guys are right here, towing the line. On the second screen, I've got Band of Brothers on, and it's the Battle of Bastogne, and everybody's in their foxhole taking heat, and I feel like that's kind of how we all are. So I try and walk the line and check in and make sure everybody's doing all right, man, and just let you guys know how appreciated you really are, because I think that's really important.
No, we appreciate that for sure. And I feel bad now that we're on here while you were trying to go on live.
Don't even trip, man.
You know what I mean?
Don't even trip.
Yeah, so sorry about that, big man. I really do. I feel bad now, but shit.
No. I mean, it's been a great week, man. And I really feel, even though frustrating in cannabis, I'm really just so happy and proud of all my OVW brothers and sisters. I think we're going to do a big couple weeks here. Adam Revolver's coming in. I'm going to try and get as many guests from this Netflix show that's just absolutely blowing up. Al Snow, I'd love to have on for a little while as well. And just great stuff all the way around. And I think this synergy, I could feel it last night at Immortal Championship Wrestling. Houses were up. I think independent wrestling is about to overtake AEW in a lot of ways, man. Because
you've only got to sell 3,000 tickets to overtake AEW right now.
Oh, I heard 750 on the last on K100, right? That's what Hugo Savinovich stooged off that. Yeah, and dude, I've done 2 CW shows with 1,800 where I main evented, and Kentucky Kingdom shows with over $3,000. So, I don't want low houses to do Schadenfreude to be like, ha, you suck, we outdrew you, because a lot of my OVW brothers and sisters are there, like the Outrunners and whatnot. I want success for them, and I want a path.
Actually, right.
No,
they're great.
Bro.
I was telling these two at the start of this show that show on Netflix is fucking great, man.
Phenomenal. It shows it really shows the true struggle of living in a shitty house in Louisville, moving there to follow your dreams. And now when I get to see my man Adam Revolver in the main event, and he's taking one punch, and it's that slow. It's a movie. It's straight out. It's the wrestler, the movie, but the real deal of what's going on in these people's lives. Wow. Dude, it almost brings a tear to my eye of like, not just of where Vet and I came from, but my friends who've been working for so many years, and now they went from the unknown, not known, and they deserve to be known. They've earned to be known. And now the whole world's going to know their name. That is just, it's almost too much for them to take in, I think. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot that comes quick. So everything you guys can share. Al Snow was trending today. # Al Snow. And if that's not enough to make every OVW brother and sister happy, man, that we all win when this shit goes down like this. And I think it's going to set in motion a lot of positivity through the indies, and a lot more people coming out to see shows. I think everybody's house is going to be up.
Well, it's a testament to OVW that's still around after what? Is it 25 years at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, over 18 in the new building, and I put this on my own personal Facebook, then I'm so pumped. I use my ex-writing partner and a brilliant mind. And Al Snow's been there through that whole time and when sold to Danny Davis. But it really is the name Adam Revolver that has been a constant since that time of being a Rip Rogers guy through and through, producing TV with myself and his tag team partner, Ted the Man Beast. And then to Impact era, Al Snow era. If there's one person who's done it all from the training to the main events, to driving the ring truck, to scripting the show, to doing all the production and never really getting emotional or selling, because I think he's void of emotion. He wasn't born with them. He's kind of an AI. He may have been a goddamn robot this whole time, but to me, Adam Revolver, and I look forward to having him either on the Monday or Friday locker room this week. So I'm excited about
awesome.
it.
I want to watch it actually. Tonight I think I'm going to watch the wrestlers, man.
I've
been meaning to watch it, but with all the wrestling that's on right now, it's so hard just to fit shit in between. You know what I mean? So,
this blows away everything that's on TV right now. And you know what else is another great one too? And I've gone down there to hang out with them. And when Rip was putting on Seminar, the Monster Factory 6-part series is a great one as well. And that's why I really feel like showing the dedication, the heart, and the emotion, the heartbreak, the addiction, the road miles, the sacrifice. Sure, what goes on in the ring storytelling wise is great, but you really get to feel the adrenaline rush, the addiction to performance and the power and the pain that comes with being a professional wrestler, not just physical, but a lot of mental stress that comes around with it too. So my hat's off to the producers. I often shit on Dark Side of the Ring because they make us look like shit, and the salacious stuff. The Monster Factory stuff and this OVW series is as perfect as it should be.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty great, man. That's awesome. But sorry, Chris, go for it, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, one of the things that I mentioned at the start of the show too was that what you see in this wrestler show, in this documentary, you see the wrestlers, right? And they're their own people, but they're also exactly what you heard of from professional wrestling, right? Like, you have they're almost like character studies in themselves, right? Like, you've got a guy like Cash Flow, right? And he's the guy who, he's pushing 50 something at this point, right? And like, his body clearly shouldn't still be in this, but he's starting to finally sort of get wrestling, right? It's like, it's a weird thing where you see that sometimes with professionals where, the guys in the wrestling business, they start getting it and it's almost too late. Right, and then they're trying.
Rip would tell us this. Rip would tell us this exactly, right? That you're gonna do this shit for you don't even start to get this shit till you're about 8 to 10 years in, and then you get it for about 3 to 4 years, and then your body starts to fail you. It's a very fucking cruel joke, bro. Like, it's a very cruel joke on the artists themselves.
And then you see, like, that the Hollywood Haley J, right? And she's exactly what you expect from a wrestler with potential, right? You look at her and she's like, man, she's got star potential. She's got a good look. She's got, she can work in the ring. She's been around wrestling her whole life. She gets it. She gets it better than almost anybody. And then you watch her personal life and you're like, she's never going to make it. Or she's going to have to fucking change something to make it, because she just makes so many stupid fucking mistakes.
When you're in your 20s, that's what you're supposed to do. You just hope that you don't make mistakes that come back to ruin it. It could easily end in a very sunny finish, right? And you don't want it to be that way. But if behaviors aren't corrected inside the bubble, it goes on and on and on and on and on, and people can fail upwards, and then all you're really doing is pouring more gas on that fire. So it is tough to turn away, but you also want to live vicariously through her and watch her make it. And then when you see bad decisions, you're like, oh, right? It's our own character flaws. But hey, I don't want to eat up too much time because I know you guys love Collision so much. I don't want to take away from it. But again, thank you guys for supporting HMG, anybody watching live and all the watch-alongs and all the the sergeants and soldiers and captains and lieutenants here of the HMG Army and participate. And I hope everybody has a good Sunday football, wins all their bets. And y'all keep it locked here, Jaime Media Group, infidels.
Yalla. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
So
guess I
yeah,
could leave the stream.
we could. You can stick around if you want. Anyway, yeah,
if you
running
want.
from the commissioner.
I keep hitting leave studio.
Hey,
Yeah.
running from the commissioner.
Leave
man.
studio.
I'm the
Leave studio.
Constable.
God damn it.
We've got an agent. We've got somebody else. We've got the commissioner. He can't even get out of here. He's too old for this shit.
I can't. They won't let me leave. I keep hitting leave studio, but it won't let me go.
That's weird. That's strange. Should I just remove you
Leave
then,
studio.
Ben, see if
Yes,
that works?
please leave studios. You can kick me out.
Yeah, all right.
Close your tab.
Mid-sentence.
One.
Mid-sentence. Jimmy, he's going to have your badge and gun for that for sure. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us, Ben. All right, let's get back into this so we can try to be done in 2 hours because I like that little gimmick where we get the fuck out of here in 2 hours.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
I like that. Anyway, yeah, next week there's going to be a match between Andrade and Jay White. That is really interesting. I want to see that fucking match really badly. Yeah, the refs keep Andrade from getting at the Bullet Club, and they cut to a recap, which is a big downturn for me. It was like, yeah, something good, and then Don Callis. Fuck. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that security, got in there and handled business because I really didn't want them to have to fire Jay White.
Yeah. No, you
Why?
can't.
Why not? Come on.
You can't. Well, because you can't let him get in a fist fight. That's
No.
wrong.
We don't do that on Saturday nights.
Do we
No,
use real
Saturday
glass on
night's
Saturday
not
nights?
all right for fighting.
It's not? What about real glass?
Also
might
not
be.
okay.
Not
Yeah,
all right? Well,
real
cry me
glass
a
might be
river.
okay.
Cry me a river, boy.
It's
Real
okay
glass
on
might be
Saturday days, but not nights.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Saturday
so-
days overseas. Yeah.
All right.
See,
So
this-
next up, we see
real
Ironhead
bad.
Shibata. And his phone
The-
says that he's having a
okay.
match at some pay-per-view or show that I'm not sure about.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Awesome. Get excited.
Good job,
pumped.
Ironhead.
Ironhead.
Anyway, the Righteous versus the Hardys is a thing we have to
Yikes.
watch.
But we don't have to talk about it. What's next?
All I can say is, oh, good, another wrestling cult. That's just what
I know,
wrestling
because
needs.
we need
Another
more
cult.
wrestling cults.
You know,
Mhm.
there's a fucking cult on The Wrestlers, like the show, the TV show from NXT.
is?
There's a fucking wrestling cult every. Why is there a cult in every fucking? There's not even a cult. There's like 7 cults in every fucking wrestling company.
But is
in
it
the
called
world.
cabanas, though?
New gimmick idea. Cult Cabana.
Cult Cabana?
Yeah.
Even though he joined the Dark Order, which is a cult.
True, but he's the real cult of personality.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Ring of Honor. I gotta say, the Hardys, they really dug through the ditches and burned through the witches and slammed in the back of the. Sorry, no, that guy's not that guy. That guy's what is that guy's name? I don't know. Tall, skinny guy with the ugly beard.
Who?
Um,
Oh, Vinny. Try pronouncing his last name really quick, because I can't. Mozzarella, Vinny.
I
He
don't-
Mozzarella.
he doesn't have a last name as of these shows on Ring of Honor. They
Is
just
it?
call him Vincent now, like
Oh, is it? It's not
yeah,
mozzarella.
like Mike Jones. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Mike Jones. That one.
So as if the match wasn't bad enough, they then cut a promo and it was rambling and incoherent. Rambling and incoherent promos are okay if you have the charisma of Bray Wyatt, and if you don't, you're not allowed to cut them.
You're wrong, because I saw the AEW Marktards on Twitter say how great they were. I'm not kidding. That's legit.
Well,
That's fine. Whatever. I said earlier, everybody doesn't have to talk in wrestling.
that's true. That's true.
They should come out with masks and not talk.
Anyway, next up, Claudio Ravioli
Cano-
says
Cannoli?
Eddie isn't man enough to beat him, and
Well, he does manicure his eyebrows, trying to look real manly.
yeah, I don't
Just saying.
care. I don't care about this feud at all.
Well, yeah, exactly. Zane Vicious says in the chat, who? You tell us who's the boss. We don't know.
Who?
Remember that show? Who? Who? Well, yeah. Who is that big guy? Who are you talking about? I don't even know. He looks like
Jim
a Joe
Neidhart?
Gacy ripoff. Ah, it could be.
Anyway, there's a video
Really,
package
he looks like
for
a fat
Danielson.
Joe Gacy.
There's a video package
Gacy
for
is fat.
Danielson and Sabre Jr.
True.
Yep.
That'll be a good
Taller
match.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Not much
Ricky
to say
Starks
here.
is pissed. He wants to have a Texas death match next week.
Can I have a Dix's death match so I can just?
You very nearly asked for a dick just now, Jimmy. You were,
No, I didn't.
You were about a syllable away from saying, "Can I have a dick?"
He's joining the Iron Savages.
Yeah. Oh, hey, shows up the Dark Order.
Them too.
Where my bear cats at and my crab cats, just quietly. Row.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, main event finally. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander.
Who?
Well, I guess the match being good on Friday is down to Jade Cargill. I don't know what else to say about that. The match on Friday was actually good. The Rampage match
It
against
actually was.
against Jade Cargill was actually a decent match.
For what it
This was not at all.
So we had bread and bakers.
It's bad, and yeah. Britt with some solid focus on the knees, which makes sense, but directly after she focuses on the knees, including smacking the knees, the heavily braced knees multiple times into the corner. You know, Britt Baker,
Ooh.
real face, by the way. Go Britt. Just after that, we see Stats running the ropes and picking her up and doing a running power slam. Chris, your knees are supposed to be hurt.
Are they?
That's
She's
what
an
the
alien.
thing in the corner was about. You're trying to pretend like your knees hurt. She did the knee thing where she throws your knee into the post, and it means your knee's supposed to hurt, which means you're supposed to react like your knees hurt. Anyway, just a little bit advice, amateur advice. Admittedly, amateur advice, right? Vet. I mean, this is like. This is what you do, though, right? If somebody smashes your knees into the post 4 times, you're supposed to at least pretend like your knees hurt afterwards, right?
Yeah, but sometimes your knee gets a second wind, so.
It does. It actually does.
That's
Can we
That's
get some
comment of the
power ups now in this company, maybe?
your knee gets a second. I love it. All right, so Chris Statlander wins. A really shitty match, and then they show Julia
What a
Hart in
champ.
the crowd. Fuck.
Cool.
You thought
So what
this
do we
match
get?
was shitty.
Holy fuck. I'm like, oh no. Oh
man.
no. See, I'm starting to get a little bit of that vet, foresight where I can see the
Mm.
end of this and I can see the match. It was Chris Statlander and fucking
Statlander.
Julia Hart. And I'm just like, oh no. That's going to be wonderful to review. It's going to be terrible to watch and wonderful to review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meow
Anyway,
to
that was the show, guys.
That was it.
That was it.
And with
That-
that ends our streak of Collision at least having a good main event. That is, how many weeks did it last with a good main event, regardless of how bad the show was?
It lasted about 4 weeks, maybe 5.
No. It was pretty much
It was
every Collision.
It's like 9 weeks. 9 weeks or so.
I
Collision's
think
only
it's
9
like
weeks old? Okay.
I think it's like 11.
No, it's 12 now. This is the 12th week. This
Oh,
is
okay.
episode
So then
12.
they had 11. They had 11 good main
11
events.
good
and then-
weeks. And then
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah,
this
and
is,
the announcers are like, the first time women are going to main event Collision, and I'm like, can it be the last time?
Yeah, well, it's in and of itself, women main eventing Collision, not necessarily bad.
Sure, give
These-
me Serena Deeb against anybody as a main event. And I'm there. I'm there.
Serena
these-
Deeb.
And I don't want
She's not
to
even-
beat up on these women. They did that enough to each other. It's not about that. It's more about like they just don't know. They just don't know, and no one's told them. And who would, and they've already been, it's the Hangman Page thing. We've already done what we've done. Why should we take advice now? Like nobody's going to listen. So it's unfortunate situation. I would love to be able to break down, each and everything about this match from a constructive criticism point of view. But not only would that take way longer than the time that we've already spent doing the show, but I would need Stevie Richards' vibe board to be able to pause and illustrate and, draw little things here. Nobody has that kind of time. It really is that kind of a study in how everything can be wrong. Even when you have a good idea, you don't execute it, or you do execute something, but it's a bad idea. It's just, there's so many things went wrong in this that we just don't have time to talk about them all. But trust me, they did go wrong, and it was as bad as you say, whether it's from the amateur point of view, like Chris's eyes and Liz's eyes, or whether it's from my trained eyes or whatever. This was something you're not going to want to see if you enjoy that tradition of good Collision main events.
Yeah. Well, according to the Mark Tards, this was a great show, boys.
Why do you even know what they say, Jimmy? You better
because
block all those accounts.
I've been frustrated. I've been arguing with these cocksuckers because...
Don't sell it.
Why?
I know.
Why?
And I hear your voice every time I do that. I kid you not. Because he's giving me some good advice. But sometimes, I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm saying. Because they call everyone else like they're a cult, but this AEW fan base is definitely a cult. They're brainwashed, man.
More
Everyone's
cults in
a cult.
wrestling. Yeah,
It's a
more
cult.
cults in wrestling.
Like Joseph Stalin.
And Mussolini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kennedy.
And Kennedy, yeah. Cause
Man.
All right.
I wonder if there was someone that could come and save the show.
He already did. He left.
Y'all, yeah, I know. This is trash. Just say it, Chris. It was trash.
This was garbage. This gets an F. This is the first
F.
collision to get an F. Yep. No, just a total failure. It felt like this 2-hour show felt like it took 5 fucking hours. I was legitimately like, my neck hurt from watching it, and my neck doesn't hurt if I'm interested.
What about your back, Chris? Did your back hurt?
I was laying down. I was laying down. Not good at all.
Geez.
F. Failure.
Is this your first F for Collision?
First F for
I think
Collision.
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
Now
I think this is my
they've gotten
first
like a
F too.
D. They've gotten a D before, where like nothing but the main event was good, right? Or 2 things. There was nothing on this show that was redeemable. Like, they had a decent 4-minute match there with FTR and the Iron Savage Bears of countries.
Of countries. The Intercontinental Savage Bears of countries.
Yeah, there you go. Put that on a title, TK.
Yeah,
Just
pal.
kidding. No more belts.
Don't tempt
Please,
him.
no
Don't
more
tempt
belts. Yeah, no more belts.
Tempt him.
Anyway, yeah, gets an F from me. Vet, you go first.
F plus. It's gonna get an F plus because Hook stood there and Keith Lee stood there. So
Take
Yep.
22.
Yep.
Fucking
they're
amateurs.
2 of my favorites. So as long as they stood there, it can get a plus of a failure.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
your
F.
grade for Collision.
Double plus F, man. Fuck. Fast forward, in other words, for me. Just fast forward through this whole shit
Double
because
F.
it sucks. Double F for me, man. Double F plus. Fast forward. Just keep
No good.
going.
No good. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, this company needs to figure it out. And right now they are in a pretty bad spiral. Like, I'm interested
No,
to see
they're
if they can
not.
pull themselves out. They really are, though. Like,
81,000. I mean,
struggling.
72,000.
That's right. That's right. You have to correct yourself, don't you?
At
Ah,
least I didn't get it tatted on my arm.
because, well, you know what really happened was those 10,000 people were just scared for their life when they heard about what happened with CM Punk, so they didn't show up.
Hey guys, we got to wrap this up. I got a 2-hour tattoo on my arm, so
All right, Ben, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitch right after this. So twitch.tv/opinionhaver. Go see me. You already know where I am everywhere else. So just go there. Follow Wrestling with Rip Rogers on YouTube. And follow Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis on YouTube. And follow Stevie Richards Fitness on YouTube.
Just follow
Awesome.
Stevie Richards.
Jimmy, where can the people find you?
Well, unfortunately, I'm in the middle of this Wreckage. So you can find me every week right here on this Saturday night Wreckage.
There he is.
With these fine fellas. Hey, yeah, where am I? Did you find me? Can you see me? I'm not even sure if I can see myself. But the point is, like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where for $5, not only do you get a face slap, but you get the best talk in all of professional wrestling. Just like the vet said, you get Stevie Richards, you get Bin Hamin, you get Stevie Ray. You get Al Snow. You get Big Ray Hernandez. You get the vet on every show pretty much on HMG and channelattitude.com. But also, you can find me on the Twitter at DJ MassFX and at the PWC Network. And like and subscribe at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com and hamidmediagroup.podbean.com for our affiliate shows. And that's a wrap.
All right, well, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at ChrisAmbs1. You can go there to see all that I have to say about pro wrestling, politics, and whatever the hell else comes to my mind. You can find me on the PWC Network, where we do, lately I'm doing all the fucking shows, aren't I? Jesus Christ, Jimmy. We got to get somebody to take the fucking WWE
Uncaged,
shows off my hand.
I need someone for Uncaged. So we can
I can do Uncaged with you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be tonight. I can't do it right now.
So we're going to go uncensored, unhinged, uncaged tonight, Chris?
Sure? We're going to do that. You can find me right here on HMG and channelattitude.com. We do the Smack Attack. We do Uncaged, and we do this right here every Sunday at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time in the morning. After the collision, we sift through
the Wreckage.
Wreckage. So, for the vet, for Jimmy T, and for the commissioner, Bin Hameen, who had a run-in today.
Yallah.
We love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. You've been great. We appreciate you guys being here and being a part of the show. We're so happy to have you here and just truly and honestly humbled and thankful for everything that you guys do to make this show great. So thank you all. And until next week, goodbye. Stay evil. Olay. Fuck off. Get out of here. Bye. Go do something else.